So a key advantage for dentists who are keen to give money to their children and grandchildren is obviously to help them get on the property ladder. Property prices are a significant multiple of average earnings compared to what they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. But another reason is that if you don't give it during your lifetime and you end up giving money or significant amount of wealth on death, then often it could be that your children don't inherit any financial support from you until they're in their 60s or 70s and perhaps when they've retired. And really what we found is that many younger people really need financial support when they're in their 20s and 30s rather than when they've actually retired. So gifting money during your lifetime when you're actually alive and able to enjoy the gift and see your children benefit from that is clearly an advantage. Provided you can live 7 years after the gift, that gift falls outside of your estate and potentially saving 40% inheritance tax. You've got to be careful if it is a significant amount of money that it can have a detrimental effect on your children's career. They could end up losing some of the drive or the motivation because they know they've got access to capital or an income, and that could reduce their desire to study and develop their own career. If your children get divorced, obviously you have to accept that you might lose some of that gift that you've made. You might lose that in a divorce settlement. Another reason why you've got to be careful gifting is you might need some of the capital for yourself in your later life. Obviously you don't know what your care costs might be when you get into your 80s or 90s or into later life, and therefore gifting too much money to your children or grandchildren could end up leaving you short. Another option for passing money on is to use trusts. Now the thing with trusts is that you have a lifetime allowance of $325,000. This is the nil rate band that you can use, and if you gift any more than $325,000 into a trust, then you could potentially pay a lifetime inheritance tax charge of 20%. So typically, gifts into trusts are limited at £325,000 each. So if you've got a spouse, then potentially you could gift £650,000 into trust. Another way of passing money tax efficiently to the next generation is by using your personal pension. So if you're confident that you have enough income from NHS pension or rental income, it can sometimes make sense to live off those other sources of income and leave your personal pensions intact. Personal pension is obviously free of inheritance tax, so in the event of your death, it can then pass to the next generation completely free of tax. One of the more complex ways of passing money to the next generation is using what's called a family investment company. Now, really the concept is quite simple. It's just a limited company and you transfer assets into this company. The assets could be cash, could be property, could be investment stocks and shares. The key trick is to ensure that your children or grandchildren become shareholders of this company, and gradually over the years, or perhaps sooner, into retirement, you then gift increasing amounts of shares to your children and grandchildren, to the point where, provided you have gifted all the shares across 7 years before your eventual death, then you can avoid inheritance tax on this. And we're seeing an increasing number of families using this vehicle, this investment structure, to pass assets down to the next generation. It's a way of, you can retain control of the assets and where you're investing it, without passing the complete control on assets to the children and grandchildren. Obviously, I'm a little biased as a financial planner, but I would say if you're considering giving significant amounts to your children, it's absolutely crucial to have a financial plan. We're seeing clients, multiple times a week, so we've got a lot of experience in helping people through this, graduating through this process, and we can look at all the the costs that are likely to happen in their future, including later life costs, and we, by using this detailed, comprehensive financial planning process, we're able to give our clients the confidence that yes, they can afford to give money to their children.